And just like that, the second episode of the recording session has begun. Welcome back to, I was about to say Ace Attorney. Welcome back to Residents of Fate. It's been about 40 minutes. I didn't spend all that time on the, whatchamacallit, I went down to Pateropolis and leveled up Vashyron's machine gun level a bit, so now he's level 16. And then I went here and made short work of everything. So now I guess we're going to go back, because luckily, you see, planned ahead here. I had the energy station there, just in case we had to go back and we needed it. There we go. So now we can rest and save, and won't have to deal with that ever again unless, you know, bad stuff happen, of course. Forgive me for a bit. My voice isn't, like, all warmed up and everything, because, you know, I had 40 minutes of basically being silent, so it's not quite warmed up like it probably could be, but that's alright, I suppose. We saved, so now let's... Really? Yeah, I don't even feel like fighting these guys. But yeah. So it seemed like once Vashyron hit like level 13 with the machine gun, that's when he started doing like all like the special stuff, like causing like full scratch damage and knockback percentage and everything. I think that's when he started being able to do stuff like that. It's a good thing that they put that roadblock like that though. So now I think that I should be pretty prepared for the overall dungeon itself. Probably not the boss. The boss is probably still going to kick my butt. Also in Pateropolis in the second room, they had this thing called the Giant Goliath. Remember the Snow Colossus in Silver Canyon? It was basically that, except for it could cause poison damage. Also, another thing that I did was I equipped Leanne with the... where is it? I equipped her with the Mighty Suit, which we'll scroll down here, and wearing this multi-purpose garment cuts the risk of all status elements by half, which is good. As you can see, Vashyron outweighs Leanne by 20 frickin' outweighs. He's stronger than her by 20 frickin' levels. So I think like having a higher level also increases the amount of weight that you can carry. So we might need to level up Zephyr a little bit for stuff. Anyway, for the future. Anyway, without further ado, though... Is there no music right now? No, there is. There's just something was driving by, so I can't really hear. Let me turn up the... Yeah, here's Tanaka... Oh, Sakura Motoe is so great. No. This is Tanaka Kohei who did this. Tanaka Kohei. I think I'm gonna have to start listening to a bit more. We're gonna do this just for the experience, just for the not like the overall level experience, but the machine gun experience, I suppose. See, now we're a lot better. Vashyron is a lot closer to like what Zephyr was with the machine gun now. It didn't really take very much time to like catch up to where Zephyr was though, because you know. Because since we were going up against such strong enemies, we were like doing like naturally like a lot of damage anyway. So I mean, we weren't doing very much damage, but like going up against such strong enemies like causes a level up quicker. Like so, the amount of even though it took like Zephyr 20 something hours to get to this point, it didn't take very long for Vashyron. It only took 40 minutes, if even that, really. I mean, it was 40 minutes in between cuts, but what am I trying to say here? I don't know. Anyway. We've already heard that before. Let's see here. Oh, another roadblock. Great. Alright, let's go ahead and get out. Let's go ahead and go through this. Oh, no! It's a full Metal Gear! Dang it. That sucks. I hate these things! No! You! I hate these things, man. Is this basically like the dungeon? Because the thing is, if you've ever... I haven't really shown it off, but the thing is, whatchamacallit does not... I probably should have just done a hero action. Now we're just going to take more unnecessary scratch damage. The thing is, like, the ruins, that's not a dungeon. It's just like this one place like right next to Cranktown, actually. So it's like this series of roadblocks basically going to be like our dungeon for whatever reason. I guess they decided to be fair, because... I take it that the game assumed that most people were going to be, we're going to have Zephyr, or we're going to have like the pre-loadout, so Zephyr's going to be like the main machine gun user and so on and so forth. Because like the thing is, it could be anyone actually. Like the thing, I could have had Leanne just as easily be the machine gunner, which would have been terrible considering we've had like 2 chapters where we haven't used her. 2 chapters, I think. Yeah, it was not a safe bet at all. Yeah, okay, should have just done this, whatchamacallit. There we go. Alright, we'll get her bezel back. I'm still not quite sure how, the bezel things come back, how, like, so, because the thing is, I think it's, you get a bezel for breaking one shield, and you get another bezel for taking them out. Sometimes, though, I've killed people where they've had full shields, and where they've had full shields when I kill them, and I get 2 bezels back, and sometimes I do that where I only get 1 back. So I'm not quite sure. I guess it's based on the amount of damage that you do, too. Also, one thing I noticed when I went in Pateropolis, I think, like, the green pass, between rooms, I think it's, like, if you do, like, a certain amount of damage, if you, like, make a certain amount of progress through the room that you're in, but you decide that you want to retreat and go back, if you go back through that green path, you'll have a chance of getting, bezels back. I've noticed. I'm not quite sure if that's specifically for the green path or that's for all of them, but I don't know, it's just one of those things. Anyway, whatever the case would be, it seems like my voice is pretty warmed up again. You know, the thing is, when you do scratch damage, you don't want to get too far away from these guys. If you get too far away from these guys, it really, like, the thing is, if we didn't wait so long, we probably would have done full scratch damage. Because the thing is, we don't even, because he's level 20. He's level 20, so really, like, we don't really need to do, like, we don't really need to charge up to do full scratch damage on this guy anymore. We could do probably, like, 8, and that would probably be enough to really get, through all of it. So, you know, it might not be best to go. So I guess, I've said this before, but I didn't really say this specifically for, hero actions. I've said it for anything. Like, sometimes it's better just to charge once instead of charging multiple times, because, you know, you can get interrupted or whatever. Alright, that wasn't too bad. So, there's gotta be, like, some random dungeon. Are they gonna turn it into a dungeon, I wonder? Because there was no dungeon. This isn't a dungeon. Last time I went here. I should have read the description for it.
ひどいありさまだろう。ここは進学校の跡地でな。
言わないで。
俺は今、あの時と同じように歩いてる。俺はあいつとここで初めて出会ったんだ。
ここでゼファーと。
そうだ。
被害者じゃないの？
どっちが？
ひどい。
人殺しの俺が弔いの花を供える。不思議とここには思うんだな。備えてやりたいとね。
私は自信がないよ。私はいつもと同じようにゼファーの顔を見れるかな。だってあいつ全然愛想がないし嫌なこと言うし 時々何考えてるかわからないし。だけど嫌いになりたくないよ。
俺は事件を解決するためにここに来た。そしてあいつを殺したんだ。だが死ななかった。
どうしてこんなことに。
俺も詳しいことは聞いてないんだ。なぜ死ぬのか、なぜ死なないのか。いっそのこと死んじまった方があいつは楽だったろうな。俺は肯定も否定もしない。大事なのは自分の感情だろ。
Mission complete. That was it. So it wasn't really that bad. So as you can see, listen to this music. Oh, it ended. That was a really great track. Probably composed by Tanaka Kohei. Probably. I don't know. Anyway, that's going to be your random Japanese word for the day. Oh, let's say this. Crank Seminary. The remnants of a seminary chapel destroyed by a past tragedy. Bereaved family members still visit to mourn the victims to this day. So, I guess as a recap, so Zephyr went over here. If you remember that one cutscene where Zephyr just went inside and just started shooting the crap out of a bunch of people, I take it that this was the place. He started going there. Vashyron came to shoot him. He ended up shooting, but it didn't kill him because that sign of whatever, and then they came together. Anyway, that was that. That's gonna be your word for the day. The Japanese word for fate is ume. Ume. That's the Japanese word for fate, if you will. Kind of like the game. That's actually one thing I want to talk about. First let's go back to our house, I suppose, and save. I want to go back to Cranktown though. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go up and then save and then whatchamacallit. So the name of this game is Resonance of Fate, right? But that is not the Japanese title. And here's the thing. I've talked about this before, but I haven't really talked about it in this series in particular. Sometimes Japanese titles are different from English titles, from American titles, they should say. And you might say, well, duh, it's because they don't want to give Japanese titles. It's a bit more complicated than that, I should say. First off, you should understand that American Western titles are not always direct. Like, if a Japanese title has a Japanese name, like actual in Japanese language, the title in English is not always going to be a direct translation, because sometimes there are titles that sound cool in Japanese but don't really translate very well into English. Or there are a lot of, like, especially light novels that have really long titles, like Ino Bateru wa Nichijouken no naka de, or let's say Danjo ni deai o motomeru no wa machigatte iru darou ka. Both have anime that have aired relatively recently. One is Ino Bateru. I've talked about this before. When it's the official English title is When Supernatural Battles Become Commonplace, which is relatively close to the Japanese title. And the English title for Danmachi is what they call it. Is it wrong to go to? I think the English title is like, is it wrong to go to dungeons to pick up girls or something like that? Not exactly the same as the Japanese title, but relatively close. And then you have stuff like Shingeki no Kyojin, for example, which is like Advancing the Giants, but it's called Attack on Titan in English. Just one of those things. But moving on though, yeah. So sometimes they change it. Sometimes they have like direct translations. Sometimes they have direct translations, and I understand that. Sometimes they need to change the title because, you know, it just doesn't quite make sense from an English-speaking perspective. Like the title, because like the thing is, when you have a title, it has to catch people's attention, right? Like if someone is talking and they're like, "Oh, so did you hear about this cool new anime called when my brother and sister got in a fight and punched each other in the face. Have you heard of that?" Like, that's not a real thing. I'm just saying, like, you know, it's just, someone's gonna be like, what? That doesn't make sense. So then, you know, so they have to change it. But sometimes there are a lot of anime out there. Sometimes they change it just because, like the anime Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica, for example, is Magical Girl Madoka Magica, but they changed it in English to Puella Magi Madoka Magica, which they could have just said I guess they changed it to Puella Magi instead of Magical Girl, because the anime isn't really, because like whenever you think of Magical Girl anime, you think of like Sailor Moon. You know, basically anime made for like little girls, stuff like that. We're gonna go check to see whatchamacallit. You think of like stuff made for little girls and whatnot, and then Madoka Magica, for example, is a lot more. It's a deconstruction anime of the Magical Girl genre, and it's a very, very dark series. Like, not like super dark and edgy, but it's a very dark. The series is legitimately messed up, and because they have because the characters are drawn in like such a moe way, we need to go to we need to go to Chandelier, because it's in such a. I know I could have just easily hit Y. I want to go back to Cranktown, but I'm gonna hold off on that. It's such like because like the characters are drawn in such like a childish like moe way. It makes it all the more messed up when bad stuff happens, because it's like it creates such this contradiction in your head, right? Where it's like, okay, so I see these characters, and to me they look like, you know, characters drawn for like a children's anime, but like the stuff that's going on right now is messed up, and so I think I can understand why they changed it to Puella Magi instead of Magical Girl, but. Sometimes there are a lot of anime and manga and visual novels and whatnot that have English titles. So you would think, oh, they don't really need to change it because, you know, it's like it's already in English. But sometimes they change it anyway. Like this one, the Japanese title is End of Eternity. Granted, you have to say it in a Japanese accent, which I'm not really going to do. I don't know. I always feel very self-conscious of that, saying like English stuff in like a Japanese accent. I don't know. It just. It's one of those things. It's just one of those things. But, I don't know why I do that, because I've done, like, really stereotypical German and French accents and Italian accents and all sorts of really terrible things, but no. Kind of a double standard when you think about it a little bit, huh? Anyway, whatever the case may be, let's go ahead and leave. It's called End of Eternity in Japanese. Like, in English, it's just English. But they changed it to Resonance of Fate. They didn't really need to. And that's one of those things that doesn't quite make sense to me, because End of Eternity sounds like a pretty cool title, don't you think, ladies and gentlemen? Like, it sounds pretty cool to me. I don't know if I saved when I was at the whatchamacallit. Okay, we're gonna go back to Evil City. No, the thing is, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to whatchamacallit and then save. This is probably really stupid, annoying to watch. But yeah, I don't know why. It could have been because of copyright issues or something. I don't know if there's anything called End of Eternity in English. Maybe it's like there's like a song title with that name or something. I don't know. But they changed it to Resonance of Fate. Just one of those things. Let's go ahead and save. We're almost at the end of the episode. So we're just going to do a bunch of side missions, I suppose. Yeah, so this really wasn't that bad of a chapter, all things considered. Sure, I had to do a little bit of grinding, but it only took like 40 minutes. So, you know, I'm not really in a defeated mood right now. I probably have enough time to talk about a random awkward topic. I didn't really have anything planned out, but I'll wing it. I do that sometimes. I mean, you can't really tell the difference between when I wing awkward topics and when I don't, probably, because, you know, like I've said this before, the way that this game works is very hard to, like, concentrate on commentary and play at the same time, so, like, it just comes across as if I'm, like, talking about each thing for the first time, despite the fact that whenever I do these awkward topics, all those times I practice those multiple times, sometimes even before I even record. Like, I'll do it, like, 3 or 4 times before I even record it, and then I start, and then it's like, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, awkward pause, see you guys in the next episode.